Saturday afternoon in Indianapolis felt different from the moment the doors opened at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The crowd was louder, the anticipation was higher, and every single person inside the building understood why. This wasn't just the start of a new WNBA season. It was the return of Caitlin Clark after one of the most talked about injury scares of the preseason. Just 9 days earlier, in this same arena against this same Dallas Wings team, Clark crashed hard to the floor after Alana Smith stepped into her landing space on a three-point attempt. The arena went silent. Clark grabbed at her leg, slowly got up, knocked down her free throws, and never returned to the game. Considering the injuries that cost her significant time last season, fans immediately feared the worst. But Clark reassured everyone that she was okay. Fever head coach Stephanie White called it precautionary. Clark later played against the Nigerian national team and looked completely healthy. So when opening day finally arrived, the biggest question in the building disappeared the second she walked out for warm-ups. The crowd exploded. The anxiety was gone, and now all eyes were on one thing: basketball. Dallas came into the game looking ready to make a statement. New head coach Jose Fernandez brought an aggressive system built around pace, ball movement, and three-point shooting. Paige Bueckers entered the season fresh off her Rookie of the Year campaign. Arike Ogunbowale looked as dangerous as ever, and rookie sensation Azzi Fudd was making her regular season debut after being selected first overall in the draft. The matchup had everything: star power, rivalry energy, a sold-out arena. And from the opening possessions, it delivered. Indiana struck first with Kelsey Mitchell knocking down a pull-up jumper that sent the building into a frenzy. Dallas answered immediately with a deep three from Bueckers, setting the tone for what would become a back-and-forth offensive showcase. Clark wasted no time getting involved. She attacked the basket early, finished through contact, and quickly got to the free throw line. On the other side, Dallas kept spacing the floor beautifully. Azzi Fudd moved constantly without the ball, creating problems for Indiana's defense every trip down the floor. But the real spark for Indiana early came from Kelsey Mitchell. She was electric in the first quarter. Layups, floaters, finishes through traffic, it didn't matter what Dallas threw at her. Mitchell attacked relentlessly and carried Indiana offensively. Still, Dallas stayed composed behind Bueckers' playmaking. She controlled the pace, created open shots for teammates, and showed the calm under pressure that has already made her one of the league's brightest young stars. By the end of the first quarter, Dallas held a slight lead, and the energy inside the arena felt more like a playoff game than opening night. The second quarter belonged to the Wings. Dallas went on a huge run fueled by elite perimeter shooting. Ogunbowale started finding rhythm from deep, Bueckers carved up the defense with pinpoint passes, and the Wings' ball movement became almost impossible to stop. Indiana struggled to rotate defensively, and Dallas took full advantage. By halftime, the Wings had knocked down threes at an incredible rate and built a solid lead. The Fever looked stunned, and for a moment it felt like Dallas was completely in control of the game. Then Caitlin Clark changed everything. Right out of halftime, Clark pulled up from well beyond the arc and drilled a deep three before Dallas could even set its defense. The crowd erupted instantly. You could feel the momentum shift in the building. And from there, Clark completely took over. She started creating offense on nearly every possession, hitting threes, getting into the paint, finding Aaliyah Boston on perfectly timed cuts, and speeding up Indiana's entire attack. Within minutes, the halftime deficit had nearly disappeared. Every time Indiana needed a big play, Clark delivered one. Then came the historic moment. Clark drove through traffic, spun past a defender, and finished a finger-roll layup off the glass. With that basket, she became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,000 career points, 250 rebounds, and 250 assists. She broke Diana Taurasi's previous record by reaching the milestone in just 54 games. The crowd rose to its feet immediately. Fever legend Tamika Catchings was in attendance to witness it, making the moment even more special for Indiana fans. But Clark barely celebrated. She acknowledged the crowd for a brief moment and immediately locked back into the game. Dallas refused to collapse. Every time Indiana threatened to grab the lead, Paige Bueckers responded with another clutch play. Floaters in traffic. Mid-range pull-ups. Smart passes under pressure. She looked completely unfazed despite the intensity of the atmosphere around her. By the end of the third quarter, the game was tied, and Gainbridge Fieldhouse was shaking. The fourth quarter turned into pure chaos. Dallas pushed the lead back out early, but Indiana answered with another run fueled by emotion and energy from the crowd. Then came one of the game's most talked about moments. Clark believed a Dallas player exaggerated contact looking for a foul, and she made sure everyone knew exactly how she felt about it. She got directly in her opponent's face, fired up the crowd, and completely changed the emotional tone of the game. Indiana fed off that energy immediately. Kelsey Mitchell hit a huge N1 layup, followed by a cold-blooded step-back three that brought the Fever right back into it. Aaliyah Boston then stripped Bueckers in transition, took the ball coast to coast, and finished to give Indiana the lead late in the fourth. The arena exploded. But Dallas stayed composed in the biggest moments. Alana Smith scored a critical basket inside. Odyssey Sims knocked down an important free throw against her former team. And with seconds remaining, Indiana had one final chance. Clark stepped back from over 30 feet as Bueckers flew past trying to contest the shot. The release looked good. The crowd held its breath. But the shot hit the back rim. Mitchell's desperation heave at the buzzer fell short, and Dallas escaped Indianapolis with a dramatic 107-104 win. Even in defeat, the performance from Indiana's stars was impossible to ignore. Kelsey Mitchell finished with 30 points and looked unstoppable offensively from start to finish. Aaliyah Boston dominated both ends of the floor with 23 points, 9 rebounds, and multiple huge defensive plays. Clark finished with 20 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds while making history in the process. She also battled through multiple moments where she appeared shaken up physically but continued fighting through every possession. For Dallas, Paige Bueckers showed exactly why the league believes she can become a superstar. She was calm, efficient, and fearless under pressure. Ogunbowale delivered huge scoring stretches, Odyssey Sims provided major production off the bench, and Azzi Fudd showed flashes of why she was the #1 overall pick. Indiana may have lost the game, but after everything that happened 9 days earlier, the biggest takeaway was simple. Caitlin Clark was back. She was healthy, aggressive, emotional, competitive, and once again at the center of one of the most electric atmospheres the WNBA has seen in years. And if opening night was any indication, this season is going to be absolutely unforgettable.